It was about a year ago when I finally finished the Attack on Titan anime. And as one does when they're caught up on a series, I started to engage with the fandom and started noticing a pattern that left a bad taste in my mouth. The absolute slander on my goat, Armin Arlert. I started to see countless times people mention how he's a useless crybaby, or simply write him off as an annoying character without any sort of consideration or analysis that is often used with literally any other character. So in today's video, I'm going to try to bring some justice and explanation to Armin's character through explaining his actions in the context of real-world psychology. From the trauma of war, to development of curiosity intelligence, and even what causes people to snap and take charge in moments of immense stress. So, without further ado, let's hop into this analysis. I believe that, as with most stories, Armin's character and progression is best examined in a chronological order. So let's start where this all began. When we see the flashback of when Eren and Armin first meet, we already get a great glimpse at the driving forces of his character. Eren asks him if he's okay with getting beat up all the time, and Armin responds by saying that as long as he doesn't run, he hasn't lost, a theme constantly brought up throughout the show. What Armin is demonstrating through his not standing up for himself is a mix of conflict avoidance, low self-confidence, and a people-pleasing nature. Only one of these, though, is something that persists throughout the main plot of the show, despite what some fans may lead you to believe. Armin is most certainly not one to avoid conflicts, shown well through his manipulation of Bertolt and him directly opposing Eren's genocide plan and actively fighting against him. He isn't a fence sitter in serious situations. He will engage in a conflict if it means protecting his friends. Another thing that Armin isn't once he's grown up is a people pleaser. People may like to insult Armin and make him out to be weak, but one thing is for certain, he will call out those who he doesn't agree with. Lack of self-confidence, though, is one of the main traits that may make him seem like a less desirable member of the squad. Him getting constantly worked up and crying over things, sometimes multiple times per episode. Don't get me wrong, it does get annoying. But when you look at it from the eyes of the characters, you can easily start to realize where he's coming from. They are in a war for the sake of all of humanity, and they're still just a bunch of teenagers watching their comrades get ripped to shreds. It's not Armin's fault that he's surrounded by a bunch of stoic war heroes. In terms of how trauma psychologically develops in real life, there are some distinct stages. Firstly, there's the impact stage. This is where the traumatic event first happens, and you have your natural stress response to it, engaging your fight or flight response and firing off stress hormones like adrenaline and norepinephrine. For Armin, and basically all characters in AOT, there are countless events that could be this event that starts the development of trauma. But let's just say the day where the Titans initially broke through Walmaria and the entire community was shattered in the span of one day. People were dying left and right, getting crushed, eaten by Titans, and even worse. Although Armin didn't actively see his mother getting eaten right in front of him, this was undeniably a traumatizing event that started to develop further stress and worry that Armin clearly already carried with him. The second stage in the development of trauma shown through Armin is the stage of processing what has happened. This comes in the form of many complex emotions and feelings that we frequently see Armin showing. Mainly those feelings are anger and shame. Armin is angry at the world, but noticeably not in the same manner as Eren is. And I think this distinct separation of character identifies what either makes viewers love or hate Armin. Eren, at least for the majority of the early story, sees Titans simply as something that needs eradicated. He is constantly letting past memories take control over his emotions in some twisted need for revenge, rather than just living for himself. Armin, on the other hand, still feels the same anger because of his developing trauma over the years. He is still seeing all of his friends die just like Eren is. But Armin does something akin to the concept of sublimation. Sublimation is defined by the APA Dictionary of Psychology as, quote, a defense mechanism in which unacceptable sexual or aggressive drives are unconsciously channeled into socially acceptable modes of expression and redirected into new, learned behaviors, which indirectly provide some satisfaction for the original drives. Armin sees the Titans are creatures that must be approached and analyzed with caution if people are to remain safe. He believes that communication, rather than blind rage, is the only way to have long-term success. So Armin takes his unacceptable feelings of anger towards the Titans and uses communication for long-term change as an outlet rather than giving in to outbursts like Eren. And when I say unacceptable feelings of anger, I'm not saying that it's intrinsically wrong to feel anger for something that has destroyed your entire life. I'm just saying that Armin, even early in the story, realizes how much Eren is being corrupted by his own anger and hate. and realizes that he can't succumb to those same dark feelings. Alright, now we know what can cause some large feelings of self-doubt and lack of self-worth, as well as how trauma develops over time, from an initial impact to the processing of it, and how sublimation can play a role in how two people express their trauma in different ways. As I'm sure you're thinking, there are some things I didn't go to in this video, and that's why I'm going to be releasing a second part to this video in about a week. In that video, I will dive deeper into the long-term effects of trauma and how it was shown to impact Armin in the later events of the story, as well as the development of curiosity and intelligence, and even what causes people to charge forward and take a stand for others. As always though, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed and learned something new. If you liked what you saw, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this topic. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.